the more we value things outside of our control, the less control we have.
What does that mean to you?
I don't know. Just like, I thought it was cool because I was looking at quotes earlier today, and I saw that one and I was like, that's fire. Because at the end of the day, who cares? Like, who wins the Super Bowl or whatever? Because, I mean, you can't control that. And then, I don't know, just feels like you don't have as much control over your life. Like, why would you? I don't know if I can articulate this well, but like, it's better to feel like you're in control than not be in control. So instead, like, it just shifts your perspective to valuing the things that you have control of versus just like, I don't know, just accepting that things happen to you type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think Coach Frank says all the time at practice that like there's so few things in your life that you really can control. And ultimately, like if there's something that you can't control, why should it concern you? You know,
Exactly.
like if something is just like I took an exam this morning and I walked down, I thought to myself, could I have done anything to make that a better experience for myself? And the answer was genuinely no. Like I studied as much as I was willing to, and whatever the grade is, like it doesn't matter because that's the work that I put in. And at that point, it's out of my control what the questions were or whatever.
Yep.
And I think it's useful when you want to achieve some outcome, but there are 100 different things you can do to achieve that outcome. Or maybe not even 100 things you can do, but 100 of things you think you can do, right? You start stressing over this factor and that factor and this factor and that factor. And I think what's so powerful is that if you realize that most of the things you're stressing over is like you don't have much control over that outcome, you just focus on the few things you do have control over, it just makes the world less chaotic. And if it's less chaotic, you can deal with it at hand. Like, for example, do you have control over how many followers you get on the podcast? No. But do you have control over how much input you give into it and how much content you release? You do have control over that, right? Do you have control over how much weight you gain in the weight room or how much muscle you put on? No, but you do have control over the fact that you go in this many times, you eat this much food, right? If you just obsess over the inputs and if you drastically increase the inputs, right? Like if I make a statement to myself, like if I go to the gym every day for 2 years and I eat 4,000 calories a day, it's very unlikely that I won't gain weight, right? If I make 1,000 podcasts, it's very unlikely that I won't have at least 1,000 followers. I think making those kind of statements to yourself has given me a lot of peace in my life because then it's like, okay, I can control one thing. Let's just keep controlling that.
Oh yeah, you can only control the likelihood of an outcome, right? Like, and I think Frank says this a lot too with wrestling. Wrestling's on the mind. The idea of like you shouldn't worry what the outcome is. All you can control is your input. You know, how long you're at practice, how hard you work in conditioning, you know, what you do in the weight room in the off season. Like those things are the only things that should concern you because if you do it right, like you said, it increases the likelihood of the outcome that you want. But even if it doesn't, you can hold your head high knowing that you did everything that you could have done and that you wanted to do.
For sure. I think also like when it comes to doing that, it's a lot of work. Like successively, like day after day. So like I was just thinking, like as you guys were talking, like another thing I would say is like to help get rid of stress or whatever. Like you said, when you're like preparing, and like just knowing that you can control your inputs helps deal with like, stress about the unknown or whatever, like whatever's going to happen in the future. If you just like take things one day at a time, like don't worry about maybe, am I going to be still in the gym in 2 years? Just, you're going to the gym tomorrow. I'm going to the gym today. I'll go next week. You know what I'm saying? Like just one day at a time. Don't worry about the stuff that you can't control that's going to come in and affect whatever your schedule is or whatever, because you don't really have, obviously you don't have control of that. So yeah. Cool.
That's
Nice one.
fascinating.
I'm up.
Bless you.
It is echoey in here.
It
Did
is.
you say bless you when I coughed?
It's an
It's a
American
beautiful
thing.
room.
Canadians would
It's a
understand.
beautiful room.
All right, let's start with this one. This is one of my favorite quotes that I've heard. You've already achieved goals you said would make you happy.
Oh, that's great. Care to elaborate?
Yes. When I heard that quote, it was like, holy shit. I think it was one of the quotes that like I remember I just wrote down. I heard it like over the summer, I think, but it makes a lot of sense because I think a lot of times when we want happiness, we think that, oh wait, I just need to achieve A, B, C, D. and then I'll get it, right? Like, I feel like maybe there are a certain group of people who are constantly thinking about the next thing they want to achieve, and it's normal. Like, it's human nature, right? Whether it be like the next goal you set for yourself. But I think having goals you're striving to achieve is a good thing. But we sometimes forget that there were goals we had in the past that we told ourselves that I just need that thing and I'll be happy. And you achieved it and you kind of got used to it, right? Like, I remember when I was coming out of COVID, my freshman year was a pretty dark time because I spent COVID not socializing with people in my room all day because literally my parents were like, you're not leaving the house. We're not going anywhere. Wearing masks everywhere when we were able to leave the house. So I wasn't social. My only social life was through video games I played at night with my friends. My sleep schedule was all ruined. I wasn't doing anything productive with my time because I hadn't started lifting till the following summer. So it was a pretty rough time for me overall. And then when I came out of that and I tried to be social again, all of a sudden, like, I wasn't able to. And it didn't hit me like, wait, why am I not able to do this when I was able to do it before in middle school? And I basically struggled with that for the whole year. And all I wanted to do was like be able to socialize with people, be comfortable socializing with people, being able to like just have a group of friends that I can say, yeah, these are my people. And I told myself, if I get that one thing, that's all I would ever need. And I remember feeling that I just need that one thing and I'll be so happy. And by the next year, by my sophomore year, I feel like I really achieved that. I think in that sophomore spring, I built a group of friends that I was so close to and I aligned so deeply with and connected with. And it was happy. I was happy for a while when I achieved that. And then you kind of get used to it, right? And now I think I'm a pretty like relatively happy guy now, but there are moments where I'm like, damn, I wish my life was better. I wish I can have more things and have more things. But this quote shouldn't make you feel as if you shouldn't strive for anything, but it should make you realize that you have achieved things in the past that you should be grateful for, right? And it kind of puts things in perspective. Like, you can continue the train of achieving more things, but I guess take a moment to look at what you've achieved, right? Like, look at the flowers along the mountain or whatever the quote is, and appreciating the things that you want in the past and you have achieved. Otherwise, like, what's the point of achieving it? You know?
Yeah, well, I think like here at Petty, there's the whole mantra of finish your labors to begin them anew. And this idea of like, great job, you finished your exam. You have one tomorrow. Oh, you finished that one. You have a whole break, but here's some work over that break. Or even like, you had a long practice. We'll go back to your dorm and do homework now. Like, it's like there's constantly like another thing to be doing. And I've always kind of tried to embrace that, but kind of had issue with it. Which would be interesting to hear your guys' input on that. Like, this idea of like the difference between like being proud and like being complacent. If you enjoyed that segment, then you would love the full podcast, which is out right now. Go watch it. It's right here. Like and subscribe.
Yes! Woo! A Rule Podcast.